Doing a little bit of drive talking, ain't telling no lies. Smash with you here. Just enjoying myself here in the streets of Glendale, Arizona. I got to tell you what, Chicago. I love Chicago. A little too cold in the winter. I love Chicago though. Back in the 70s, maybe a little bit before that, definitely a little after that, but back in the 70s when we were playing in our band was called Roadmaster at that particular point in time. And we were, guys trying to make it as far as the music business is concerned. Back then, the music business really was East Coast, West Coast, and as far as the mid was concerned, talking New York or LA, as far as the mid was concerned, because Miami wasn't even coming up yet, but Miami did come up. But as far as the Midwest is concerned, there's a couple, 2, 3 big places to play. One was the Agora out in Cleveland. I mean, you play the Agora, it's like playing the Fillmore East or West, but that was the Fillmore of the Midwest. And then there were great clubs that were renowned nationwide. And one of those clubs was Rush Up. And Rush Up was like 6 flights of stairs. So when you're carrying 2 Leslies and a Hammond B3 up like 6 flights of stairs, it's like, holy mackerel. You had to come in the morning because it was like moving all day long. And then, then you played like 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Astounding, like 6 sets. But everybody wanted to play Rush Up, man, because everybody was coming to Rush Up. Because we used to play Rush Up, and maybe 2, 3 blocks away was the Playboy Mansion. Now, for you youngsters don't understand, Playboy Mansion was kind of like, at least at that time, a gentleman's club, and they had what's called Playboy bunnies. And these bunnies, after work, would come and they'd watch the bands, and they happened to be there when we played. Also, all kinds, because Chicago was what's known as the second city, as far as the population center is concerned, because first city was New York, second city was Chicago. Now, in that second city, all kinds of great musicians out there. I never forget, I think they were called the 4 Trade Winds, something like that, or the Trade Winds. They wound up being Styx. And Styx was a combination of that band and a band called MS Funk. And in that band, MS Funk, was this little tiny cute guy, blonde guy, had long girly-like hair and everything. And I mean, Tommy Shaw. Everybody knows Tommy Shaw from Styx. And Tommy, you can make as much fun as you want of Tommy because he was a little guy and he was pretty boy. He got all the chicks, man. We're just a bunch of Hoosiers from Indiana. We're just glad to be there because we're trying to, make our mark in the music business. Because Mercury Records was in Chicago. So, Mercury Records comes to see you. Who knows, you might get a record deal out of that deal. And in fact, Roadmaster Band did. Nevertheless, all kinds of bands playing Rush Up in those days. A band called Rotary Connection. Minnie Riperton was in that band. Who ever forget? Loving you has made my life so beautiful. Every day of my life was made for loving you. And then Minnie Riperton would go, yeah, 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 yeah. Just like that. And I'm telling you what, Minnie Riperton would knock him out. I tell you who else would knock him out? Chaka Khan. The band at that time was called Rufus. It was really called Ask Rufus at first. And they'd play at Rush Up too. And they had Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan would just kill looking too. But Chaka Khan, any soul song you might want to hear, Chaka Khan could hit it, no problems whatsoever. Oh God, I'm just trying to think what song Chaka Khan does, man. Well, she didn't do it at that time, but man, one of the greatest Chaka Khan songs is I'm every woman, that's all in me. Whatever you want, baby, I do it naturally. The reason that sounded so good is because my feminine side kind of pervaded itself on that. But all the great bands would play there, and then down the way there was a nightclub called Mother's. A lot of great bands would play there. And then there was Mr. Kelly's, and Mr. Kelly's had kind of jazzy type band. So one day we're on break before the next set because we were sharing the stage with another band, don't remember who, but before our set, we went down to see this guy, Gino Vanelli, at Mr. Kelly's because people came back saying, where do you see this pretty kid? This pretty kid has really got the girls on over there. Gino Vanelli was his name. And a lot of people, in fact, said that I, Sir Smashington, in that day, was kind of a cross between, because I had all the long hair and, big bouffant-like hair and everything, white man's afro, call it what you will. They said, you are a cross between Gino Vanelli and Jackie Gleason. But nevertheless, I tell you what, that guy was astounding, and his band was amazing. I mean, you always saw great bands out there on Rush Street. In fact, at the Maryland Hotel, right across the street from Rush Street, we, the Roadmaster Band, watched from the windows in the upper floors, because that's where they were, watched Rush Up burn down. We were right there, and flames were coming out of the windows there at Rush Up, and of course there was no more Rush Up after that, but Rush Up burned down. But let me tell you a great story. I was telling you about Second City a little bit earlier. Well, there's a comedy operation called Second City, and a lot of people came out of that. Back in that day, it was Gilda Radner, John Belushi, Aykroyd, all those guys came out of there. And there's another guy who always used to come and watch us, the Roadmaster Band. I imagine he watched the other bands too, but he was always there watching us, and I'd talk to him at various points in time, not thinking anything. Guys trying to be a comedian and everything, and that was Bill Murray. And Bill Murray, and he had all these pockmarks and everything back in that day. Everybody had pockmarks back in that day. But Bill Murray, he'd come and watch us and, enjoy the band and everything. And one day, he comes up to me at the end of the night, because they would come after they got done doing their comedy stuff over at Second City. He'd come up to me at the end of the night, and he says, I'm leaving. I'm heading on out to L.A. I said, what you going to do? He said, I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to get into movies. I'm going to do stand-up. I'm going to be a comedian. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I didn't know that much about Second City because I didn't pay all that much attention to it back then. This was like 73, maybe 72, maybe something like that. And okay, bye, Bill. Well, Bill Murray sends me a postcard from LA, maybe 2 or 3 months down the line. Says, I got my first gig, miss you guys. I still got that postcard because that is memorabilia to the max. So all kinds of fans, you never know who is, especially on a radio, when you're DJ on a radio like I was for a number of years, you never know who's listening to you. I don't even know who's watching me right now here on this YouTube Digging a Smash channel here. But I know one thing, if you dig it, you're definitely going to promote it. And in promoting it, Bill Murray, promoted himself into a major gig at Saturday Night Live. And of course, Bill Murray, one of the great comedic actors of the 20th and into the 21st century. And he used to come watch the Roadmaster Band playing in Chicago at Rush Up. You want to talk about a golden era in music. That's what it was. Got the Mercury record deal done, and off we went. No props whatsoever. So, never let them call it the Windy City, because the only real wind that's blowing there is, as they say in the world of folk music, the winds of change. And those winds of change will indeed take you and put you through what are called them changes. And you will say to yourself, well, my mind is going through them changes. I think I'm going out of my mind. Every time you see me going somewhere, you know I'm getting out of my mind. She got me running. She got me hiding. She got me running, hiding, which is my last story. Buddy Miles, who did that song, big hit for him. Drummer, big old dude, humongous afro, must have weighed 450 pounds, but it was Buddy Miles. So Buddy Miles comes up to us. We're playing up Rush Up in the upper level where the bands all play, and he says, I said to him, you're Buddy Miles, aren't you? He said, yeah. He said, you want to sit in on drums? He said, no. I said, what you want to do? He said, I want to play the guitar. So he took the guitar. And turned it upside down because he was left-handed. He turned it upside down and played ferociously. We did some blues jamming with Buddy Miles, and that was astounding. Again, you never know who's in that audience. So any of you youngsters out there listening to Cool Papa Smash, I just done you a great service in that teaching you always give your best performance, because you never know who might be touched by it, and in being touched by it, uplift you and bless you in their own individualistic fashion. You have been served, meaning I have informed you in an educated fashion. And if indeed you feel a little more intellectual right now, and if indeed you feel that you have a bevy of knowledge that will take you to another stratosphere, well, then I feel as if my job is done. And when my job is done, all I can say is thank you for taking the smash.